Breaking news now in the Donald Trump hush money trial. Prosecutors are expected to call Stormy Daniels to the stand today. Right now, it's unclear if she will be called first this morning or later in the day. Joining us now to discuss is James Sample, professor at Hofstra University Law School. Professor, welcome and thank you for being with us. Now,
thank you, Cindy.
What are we expecting to hear from Stormy Daniels if and when she takes the stand?
I think there are really two scenarios, and the prosecutors have a bit of a fork in the road, and they need to choose which route they take, in the sense that there's one route is where they go all in, and that starts with the 2006 allegation of a sexual encounter with Mr. Trump and goes all the way through. The other route would be a more moderate route, in which the prosecutors would really choose to focus just on the fact that Stormy Daniels would testify to receiving the payment of $130,000 that's at issue. One of the things to recognize here is that this is a high-risk endeavor. It could be a high-value endeavor for the prosecutors, but it's also high risk in the sense that while Stormy Daniels is a marquee name in the sense of this trial and a star witness, you don't want her to distract from the essence of the case. And the essence and the centerpiece of the case, of course, is the payments and the covering up of those payments that led to the falsification of records. Stormy Daniels isn't involved in that part of this case at all. So if the prosecutors choose to go with the all-in route, in which she would detail, presumably, her allegations of the sexual encounter with Mr. Trump in 2006, that is a high-risk proposition, but it may be one that would be of significant value. It will be a fascinating day in the courtroom.
So how big of an impact can her testimony have on this trial?
I think that her testimony certainly will have an impact in the minds of the jurors. They've been hearing all about her. They've been hearing about the payments related to her, that went to her. They've been hearing about the cover-up. I think that for many jurors, and probably one of the things in the prosecutor's minds is, if they don't hear from Stormy Daniels herself, it doesn't feel as real. And so I suspect that she's going to, at minimum, testify to the receipt of the payment. That's another independent corroborating witness, especially after the testimony that we received yesterday. The prosecution has gone with a kind of staccato strategy, almost a pattern. They go with a star witness, then they introduce physical evidence, tangible evidence in the form of custodial witnesses who bring in documentation and papers and the things like that. And yesterday we got a lot of that documentary evidence. Today it appears that we're going to be getting some of the sort of star bombshell witness, if you will.
And what do we already know about Stormy Daniels based on other testimonies we've heard so far?
Well, we know that she's an adult film star. We know that her real name is Stephanie Clifford, but that she prefers to be called Stormy Daniels. We know that she's part of the catch and kill sort of sequence of events with David Pecker, but Pecker ultimately turned down the story. Then Michael Cohen, at least according to the prosecutors, paid her directly $130,000. And then one of the things we learned yesterday is that because that Michael Cohen needed to be reimbursed for those payments were grossed up, meaning that they were essentially more than doubled in order to cover his taxes that he would have to pay on that income to make him whole for the $130,000 that was paid to her. So she's a critical part of the overall narrative. She's not necessarily the smoking gun in terms of the falsification of records, but she's very, very important to the overall narrative of this case. And presumably, she is a witness who can do some real damage to Mr. Trump in the court of public opinion, even if not necessarily just in the courtroom itself.
James Sample, professor at Hofstra Law, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.